You are listening to TheQFM. Manifest your reality.
In our understanding of an atom, what's really interesting is it came from the age of Greeks, the history of the Greeks, and there was a philosopher, and this philosopher way back then gave the word atom. And atom in Greek means simply uncuttable. And so our first idea was this, that in this understanding in Greek philosophy, the world is made out of little particles. They're called atoms, and they're the smallest things in the universe, and you can't break them up. That's it. Uncuttable atom. That's what the word means. And so we believe that the world was made out of these little particles, and that was the uncuttable part. But around 1895, scientists started to look inside, and what did they find? That inside the atom, there were smaller particles. And all of a sudden, so we now go inside the atom and say, yeah, but there's still particles in there. There are electrons, protons, and neutrons. So we just reduced it to smaller particles. But the biggest change in our understanding of science happened by 1920. I said, what happened? I said, they started to look inside the particles, such as this proton. And I said, what did they find inside? And the answer, nothing physical. And all of a sudden I said, well, what do you mean? An atom is what's inside an atom? And it turns out to be an energy vortex, like a nano tornado, a force field. I go, what's the relevance of that? It's not physical. It's an energy. It has the appearance of physicality. And in fact, I really love the quote from Albert Einstein: reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. And even Einstein was saying reality as we perceive it, that's an illusion. It's all based on energy. And I say, well, why is that relevant? Because then when I look at a human body, for example, I understand it's made out of atoms and molecules. And then I say, yeah, but the significance of that, and then illustrated in this article from Scientific American, is that every atom and molecule emits and absorbs light of characteristic wavelengths. The point is this: an atom is an energy spinning, and it gives off light, and it absorbs light. And the most important part is that it gives off and it absorbs. So you're an energy, and you're giving off energy, but all your atoms and molecules are also absorbing energy. And so the idea is you are so directly interconnected to the field because you are generating the energy, and you are actually, the energy itself is coming back in and affecting us. And when I get finished with this little brief introduction and get a chance to talk with Bhavani about it, it becomes really important because we say, well, what does that energy represent? But let's hold that for a minute and come back to the concept of everything being an energy. And I just want to show, this is a picture of an MRI scan. I say, why is it relevant? I say, this is a picture showing all the parts of the human body. I go, yeah, but what does it mean? I said, it's not a photograph. It's actually looking in through the body. I said, yeah, but what does the scan system read? Not physical. The scan system reads energy. And I say, but why is that important? I say, well, look at the structure. It's almost like a microscope, a section right through a human. You can see all the parts. I go, every part has a unique energy. The scan system doesn't read matter. It reads energy. So all of your body parts are really made out of energy. And I go, yeah. And the relevance about that is that energy is influencing each other. Going back, all atoms give off energy, but they are influenced by energy. So in a very quick thing to show you what I mean by the field is this. I do an experiment. I take a piece of iron and I use a file, and I file it down, make some iron dust, it's called, put it in a salt shaker, and I'll sprinkle it on a piece of paper, and I go, look at the result. I sprinkled iron filings. It's a whole bunch of iron filing dots all over the place, random. And I say, okay, use that as an experiment. Throw it away and let's sprinkle again. I get the same thing over and over. Just sprinkling iron filings, random. But what's interesting, in the next version of it, before I sprinkle the filings, I put a magnet underneath the piece of paper. So now I have the piece of paper on the top, and I say, now sprinkle the iron filings. And all of a sudden what you see is this beautiful expression of the magnetic field. I go, what's the field? It's the energy radiating from the magnet. It's not the magnet, it's the invisible energy radiating from it. I say, so why is it relevant? I say, every time I sprinkle, I get this pattern. I say, where did the pattern come from? Because we go back, and I just said, well, without the magnet, I sprinkled it. The filings were just random piles. Now, with a magnet, I sprinkle it, and it always comes out in this beautiful configuration. So there's a shape, and I say, yeah, but what's responsible for the shape? And the shape is actually due to matter plus a field. The invisible forces are actually giving shape to how these particles are presented in the world in which we live. Energy is shaping the expression of matter. And it's like, well, this is fundamental to physics, and this is what I want to bring up, because the concept that Albert Einstein offers us is the field. And that's the invisible energy, such as the magnetic field. That's an example of a field. It's invisible. And it says the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. Particle means matter. So it says, what is the fundamental foundation of quantum physics? A, everything is energy. Energy is represented as fields, the invisible stuff that's going on around us. B, the field is the sole governing agency of matter. And all of a sudden it says, then what we see in the world and all the structure that we see is actually generated by fields. That energy is shaping everything in our world like that. So I said, well, what's the definition of the word field? And I go, well, field means invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. That's what physics says, field. Invisible moving forces like the magnetic field, and that influences the physical world. I go, yeah, that's great. And I go, oh, there's a word from ancient history called spirit. I go, well, what's the definition of spirit? And I go, invisible moving fields or forces that influence the physical world. I go, why is this relevant? The answer is profoundly important, because quantum physics gives us a scientific understanding of invisible forces and how it shapes the world. Spirit has been an ancient understanding, a wisdom carried from the past forward that talks about the invisible forces giving shape to the world. All of a sudden I get, oh my God, science and spirituality are coming together in this. And to conclude that, I just want to bring up this article that was published in the journal Nature, which is the most prestigious scientific journal on this planet. I say, what's the relevance? Well, Richard Conn Henry, a physicist at Johns Hopkins University, has this article called The Mental Universe. And I say, oh, it's all about physics. I go, yeah, but let me just show you the last sentence, the conclusion of all of this physics. And the last sentence reads, the universe is immaterial. It's mental and spiritual. Live and enjoy. And so really what we're coming down to is, I can give you the idea that yes, all energy, it's all interacting, it's all shaping what we're doing and all that, and that's great up in here. But when you start to understand it and say, wait, but if this is the way it is, then if I'm generating a field, then I'm generating a shaping factor influencing the world.